They were gassed, they were drowned, starved to death, died from all kinds of illnesses. What was their crime? They were Jewish. I am speaking for them. I'm one of the few witnesses still left with a good memory. The reason I have such a good memory is because my mother, who was with me most of the time during the war situation, talked to me a lot. And when you talk to somebody, you remember it.
Hi, this is Brad Henry. On the podcast, we have stories about the underdog. I've had a lot of victory, but more tragedy in my life has made me very compassionate and perceptive on those who struggle, but those who are not willing to give up. And these stories will hopefully inspire you to become more and be more in life, to give you hope, to know that victory can be right around the corner. And hopefully today's story will be that one to put you in a great mindset to know that everything in life is attainable with persistence and hope. So thank you for listening today, and I think you will really enjoy our channel. I have on with me a woman that I've admired for many, many years, and I've learned so much about her that to have her on the show today is truly incredible. Her name is Tova Friedman, and Tova, I'm honored to have you on today.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm here for all kinds of reasons, mostly because I was asked by a friend to do that, and I'm happy to do it for you. And I have a book out that some of you may be interested in reading it, which there I tell my whole story. I am one of the youngest survivors of Auschwitz. I think that most people do know about Auschwitz, but there must be some who don't. What do you think? Do you think there's some people who don't know about Auschwitz?
I do, and it should not ever happen.
Oh, you do? You think there are people who don't know about it?
Correct.
Okay, so I want to just tell you a little story. Now, I represent 1.5 million of Jewish children that have been killed
Oh,
for only one reason, only because they were Jewish. They were gassed, they were drowned, starved to death, and died from all kinds of illnesses. What was their crime? They were Jewish. I am speaking for them. I'm one of the few witnesses still left with a good memory. The reason I have such a good memory is because my mother, who was with me most of the time during the war situation, talked to me a lot. And when you talk to somebody, you remember it. My very first memory is when I was under a table hidden in a ghetto. Now, I, I wish I could speak to a live audience so that I could ask the questions. You all know what a ghetto is. Every town where there were Jews, Hitler's gang, I call them, would come in and push us into a very, I guess, the poorest part
wow.
of town. There was no running water. There was no toilet facilities, and there was very little food. And they put a fence around us, and there were people with guns, Germans or Ukrainians also. Anybody who wanted to join the Germans with guns, and we couldn't go out. So many people starved to death, and many people were ill because of typhus. And that's my earliest memory. And I was there when I was 3. And Hitler, with his great machinery, big army, wanted to kill immediately children and elderly.
Oh,
Children, he was afraid would grow up like me, like I did. I'm a witness. Also, children are an annoyance, correct? Their parents have to take care of them, so their parents can't do work, can't work as well. The people that he wanted that should stay alive are those people who could work, those who could help him win the war. So at one point, my parents worked at a ammunition factory, and if you had working papers, then you were saved for a while. But meanwhile, my mother's entire family, 150 people were killed, murdered. Their husbands, wives, all the children. The murder took place by shooting, by gassing, by drowning. They had a system of how to do it, and they perfected it.
Oh,
They knew exactly how, they had lists of every one of us. How did they identify us? As soon as they came to a town, we had to wear armbands with a Jewish star to identify us. Later on, they tattooed our bodies with
oh,
numbers, which I have a tattoo, so that we can be identified. And from those ghettos, they sent people to concentration camps. My family was sent to a labor camp where they worked from morning to night in an ammunition factory. And I was there were very few kids left because most of them were shot or killed
oh,
before. And my grandmother was killed right outside our house because she she was elderly. And elderly at that time was over 50. That's what they considered elderly because after 50 you don't have as much energy to work, and they needed 20 and 30-year-olds to work for them. In that labor camp, many people were killed on a constant basis, and my mother taught me how to behave. She taught me not to have any kind of eye contact with a German soldier because then he would recognize me, not to run when I saw the scary dogs, German shepherds, because they were trained to kill. Anyhow, I learned. She tried to tell me I should be invisible, and I learned that. I learned it very early. And then one day they took all the children, whoever the kids were left, and put them on a truck, and they had dug, not they, their parents dug graves for them. They had communal graves. If you go to Poland now, around that area, Poland is a big graveyard. Every
oh,
place are communal graves. So they killed all the children while I
oh,
was hidden in a like a crawl space in the ceiling. But after that, they decided to move the camp to a different place, and all of us were sent to Auschwitz. Auschwitz was the final solution because it had 5 gas chambers and crematoria where the bodies were burned. They would burn so many bodies so quickly that they couldn't burn them fast enough, and they were afraid of an epidemic. So sometimes you would see dug like a pit where they threw the bodies and burned them. And that's where I was taken with my mother,
oh,
awaiting death. They shaved my head because they tried to make you as inhuman as possible, took away the clothes, and had us live in those barracks just like animals, fed twice a day, very little. A lot of people died of starvation, and there were no children that I saw. And again, she taught me how to behave, that I had to make sure nobody steals my cup and my bowl because then I wouldn't have any food. I learned, even at that age, I was 5 and a half. I learned. And all the sick were taken every morning. They would come a little wheelbarrow, and they would take away the dead and the sick straight to the crematorium, to the gas chambers. And one day I got ill, and somebody took me away, and I was sure I'll never see my mother again. But they put me like a hospital without doctors. They just closed the door, and by some miracles I survived. But I didn't see my mother anymore. They took me away and they put me to kinder camp. And in the kinder camp, I was tattooed, and I was told my name is 27,633. And I learned this, although I didn't know what numbers were. And then one day, they said, we're going to have a great breakfast. We knew what that meant because just before they took you to a gas chamber, they gave you a very big breakfast. After we ate, I didn't care though, I was so hungry.
Mm.
We walked over, we started walking to the gas chamber. I said to myself, oh, good. I wasn't even worried. I said, most Jewish children go to the gas chamber.
Uh,
And the idea that all Jewish children should die was normal.
oh,
That's the way people lived. And I don't know what happened exactly. I couldn't find out. Nobody I knew could find out that we waited in the gas chamber for hours, naked and cold. And then they sent us back. Never found out why. A few weeks later, we woke up in the morning, and the woman who sort of took care of us, gave us food, was gone. We didn't know what happened. And the door was open, but we were so scared, the children, nobody wanted to go near the door because they were shouting and barking. We heard barking. We were frightened of the dogs,
oh,
barking and shooting. And all of a sudden, my mother comes in, which was shocking. I'd forgotten I even had a mother. I
oh,
didn't recognize her. She just looked utterly, completely terrible. And she convinced me that she was my mother. And this is what she said to me. They are moving all of people in Auschwitz deeper into Germany. This was Poland, where we were, into Germany, because the Russians are coming. The Allies were coming. And they didn't want anybody to see what was going on there
ah,
because they told the world that they weren't doing anything. It was a secret. They were killing people, burning people, gassing people. They thought in secret. And when some people somehow were able to get away and tell the world, nobody believed it. Nobody believed that human beings do that. So my mother said, look, I can't walk. They want us to walk. Her feet were swollen. She said, you know what? We're going to hide in Auschwitz. And either we'll die together or
oh,
we'll make it. And I was so happy to be with her. So she took me out of the barrack and found a some kind. We walked out and we found. She took me to a hospital again with only women. They were lying in bed, no doctors, and she chose a corpse and told me to get in. And I got there, and she covered me, and she said, nobody will uncover you but me. So whatever you hear, don't get uncovered.
oh,
And she disappeared. Within a little bit, within a little bit, Germans came in, checking. They wanted everybody to walk, everybody who could possibly walk to walk. And they tried, and they looked at all the bodies, thinking they may be, faking. Somebody stopped in my bed, and I just kept my breath. I was afraid to breathe. And luckily, the person went away. And about, I don't know how long afterwards, time is very mixed for a child, and a few hours afterwards, all of a sudden, then there was smoke. And I said, oh my God, my mother told me not to uncover, but I can't breathe. There was smoke everywhere. I thought, well, when the German left Auschwitz, they tried to cover up everything that they did. They didn't want no evidence. So they burned all papers and they tried to burn every single building there. And when I thought I couldn't breathe, I would have to get uncovered. She uncovered me and she said to me, they're gone.
Oh,
They're gone. And January 27, the Russians came and freed us. I was exactly 5.5 years old. So that's my story. And now when I look around at this world, it is absolutely scary, unfair, and terrible. So
terrible.
anyhow,
Yeah.
that's why I speak a lot to let people know that this terrible anti-Semitism and the hatred, a lot of it is from ignorance. After we allowed Hitler, and we did allow
Oh,
him because we didn't have an army,
what a
we didn't have a
horrible
government,
name. Horrible name.
right? And nobody helped us. Nobody helped us. Not America. Nobody. There was a ship that came to America, and President Roosevelt didn't accept it. Right? Turned the ship back to Germany, and all these people were killed.
Oh,
So we were on our own. Well, we're no longer on our own.
you have
To
done
let
a phenomenal job carrying on the tradition of telling about your past, what happened, what needs to happen in the future. You speak all over the world.
I speak wherever people ask me. If I can, I come. Absolutely.
Well, to have you on today is such an honor, and I know people will be so moved by.
If they have questions, they email you. How does it work?
We will put down your book and we'll also put down place to contact me.
Okay.
So, Tova, it has been a huge blessing to have
Thank you.
you on today. Knowing I just words cannot describe what you just said. And I appreciate you so much. See you,
Thank you for
Tova.
having me.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bye
Bye.
bye.
Thank you for listening today. Quite a segment. Please subscribe to our channel so you get all the latest updates and you can see all the past great stories of people who have overcome. I'm Brad Henry. Thank you for tuning in.